the 13 Craziest Roundabouts. Number 13, the roundabout in Halifax. This roundabout looks like a typical roundabout, but it has 2 lanes, which makes it really difficult if you're in the inner lane. Even that, however, is just a normal, albeit annoying, aspect of most roundabouts. What makes this one from Halifax different is not only the 5 streets feeding into it, but that one of the roads gives the people entering the right of way, which leads to a bunch of confusion and car crashes. So before you drive up to this roundabout up in Canada, make sure you're super wary before you get stuck in this crash site waiting to happen. Number 12, Taganskaya Square. The Taganskaya Square, located in Moscow, isn't exactly a roundabout, but it's a highly confusing series of intersections that might have you driving in circles. Not only are there countless roads feeding in and out of each other, but the roads are very wide and accommodate high volumes of traffic, which make it all the more nerve-wracking to navigate through. To me, it seems like it'd be impossible to change lanes fast enough to get to the right exit you want. Number 11, the Pearl Ring in Shanghai. This traffic circle in Shanghai is called the Pearl Ring, and it's found right next to the Oriental Pearl Tower. Unlike most roundabouts, this one doesn't seem too hellish to drive through, and even looks visually pleasing. Because it can be seen from the observation deck in the Pearl Tower, it was probably built more as a tourist attraction than a useful traffic feature. It even comes complete with an upper ring for pedestrians to use, which probably helps keep the number of motor accidents down near the monument. Number 10, Hemel Hempstead. This is the Plough Roundabout in Hertfordshire, England, but it's better known as the Magic Roundabout. The nickname came from a popular children's program from the UK of the same name. The roundabout was previously a standard junction of roads that met between 2 cities, but was replaced with this roundabout in 1973. In 2005, it was voted as the 2nd worst roundabout in the country, but then voted as the best roundabout in 2011. You can see why it might have such a big reputation. It's one of those insane roundabouts that has roundabouts within the roundabout. This dizzying intersection is guaranteed to make you lose your lunch if you're not careful. Number 9, the Putrajaya Roundabout. Putrajaya in Malaysia might have the biggest roundabout in the world. This huge traffic circle wraps around a huge portion of land. In the middle, rather than a piece of concrete or some shrubbery, it is a huge green landscape. Within this land is the Istana Melawati, the country's 2nd royal palace, the Putra Padana landmark, and the Putrajaya Shangri-La Hotel. Some people driving along this 3.5 kilometre road don't even realise that they're in a roundabout because it's so expansive. Number 8. This is Rome's Porta Maggiore, a loose roundabout that encircles a 2,000-year-old Roman gate and aqueduct and conducts trams as well as cars. At first glance, this intersection of roads doesn't look as chaotic as the others on this list. But you'll notice that the roads that crisscross in confusing ways have sudden turns and feed into and out of 7 streets. Italy already has a pretty bad reputation with their traffic, and with dysfunctional roads like these, it's easy to see why. This intersection was probably just as crazy to navigate today as it was 2,000 years ago. Number 7, the Somerville Roundabout. This one in Somerville is kind of like 2.5 roundabouts. 6 roads thread in and out of these circles and weave into busy business parking lots. In peak traffic, driving through these roads would be an every man for himself free-for-all. Number 6, the roundabouts of Kuching, Malaysia. Kuching in Malaysia has a lot of massive roundabouts that some have called a waste of land. Apparently, Kuching has land to spare, which allows them to build such expansive roundabouts all over the place. The only crazy thing about these is how many of these huge traffic circles they have and how most of them are pretty unnecessary. Number 5, the Brighton, Michigan interchange. In Brighton, Michigan, between the I-96 and Surface Streets, there are 3 separate roundabouts to get through. There are 2 hairpin traffic circles that feed directly into each other, which pretty much guarantees a motor accident once a day, or at least some skidding tyres. On this map alone, there are 5 roundabouts that you can hit within a 5-minute drive, which personally doesn't seem like an ideal route for anyone to take. Number 4. State Circle. The State Circle in Canberra, Australia, is a lengthy road that encircles the Parliament building, marking the centre of Australia's capital city. State Circle is the biggest of 3 concentric circles, outsizing the 2 that run within it, Parliament Drive and Capital Circle. What makes this roundabout crazy is what it could have been. The 3-kilometre road was only one of what was meant to be several concentric roads surrounding the Parliament. Instead of the large number of roads originally envisioned outside the capital, only 2 big ones were completed. It's probably for the best considering the number of motor accidents that surround roundabouts. Number 3. The Arc de Triomphe traffic circle. The roads around the Arc de Triomphe in Paris is one big nightmare of a roundabout. Definitely not for the faint of heart. Getting caught up in this traffic circle may have you driving around and around for ages before you manage to escape. There are so many lanes of traffic, it'll feel more like a melee of cars than organised traffic. While you're trying to navigate through a sea of drivers, you also have to figure out which of the several unmarked roads is the one you want to take. It's easy to imagine getting caught on this endlessly, like some kind of hellish traffic purgatory. Number 2. Michigan's Ghost Circle. When a traffic circle was recently constructed at the intersection of the M5 and Pontiac Trail in Wixom, Michigan, many people didn't know how to handle the circle, and many more didn't even know that the old standard intersection had become a roundabout. It leads to a fair few incidents because of people driving straight into it without knowing the rules of a roundabout. Number 1. The Swindon Roundabout. What's worse than a roundabout? How about a roundabout within a roundabout? How about 5 roundabouts within a roundabout? Well, you can find this personal hell in Swindon, UK. Head over there if you want to enter a roundabout and immediately be greeted with another roundabout and feel the thrill of trying to navigate through this concrete death jungle. Driving through a roundabout might seem innocuous, but trying to steer through a traffic circle with traffic circles inside of it could trigger an adrenaline rush big enough to satiate the world's greatest daredevils.